You are wrestling fans, and we are the degenerates that like to talk about it. This is Kicking Out of Two. I'm Michael. With me, as always, is Tori. Hey, Tori.
Hello.
So it was Wednesday, so you know what that means. We're going to talk about Dynamite. Um, so Dynamite was a very fitting situation. There was a lot of talk that they wanted to do a AEW tribute show to the loss of Jay Briscoe. Um, they wouldn't let them do a full show, but Tony Khan went to bat and at least got them what they had tonight. So this night would have been Jay's 39th birthday. So another kind of like little fitting thing is that the
It
day that we
being
do
his
this.
birthday,
Yeah.
it being his birthday just made it so much better.
On the show, we also saw a TNT Championship on the line. Was Darby Allin win against Buddy Matthews. We had Bryan Danielson facing Brian Cage, with Brian Cage having Prince Nana with him, and also having an envelope full of cash that MJF gave him to break his arm. We had Tony Storm also take on Ruby Soho. The Acclaim, the Gun Club.
That match was a banger.
It was.
That match was a banger.
The Acclaim, the Gun Club, and Billy Gunn had a family therapy session. I was highly offended that Dr. Shelby wasn't there. I thought he was the only wrestling, therapist in the business. Apparently not.
Well, whoever she is, she fine as hell. So
yeah. I would not have been paying attention to the therapy session. Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara teaming against Action Andretti and Ricky Starks. We also had Jungle Hook and tag team action with Ethan Page and Matt Hardy. So really packed show.
A stacked show.
Yeah, I mean they definitely put on a lot of stuff. There was a little bit of news about the show, just a couple of things that had changed. So obviously they wanted to do the Jay Briscoe tribute. So after Tony Khan fought for that, they wanted to put on the match between Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal. Originally, Darby Allin and Buddy Matthews was scheduled to be the main event, which would have been perfectly fine.
Absolutely, it would have been a great main event.
The Gun Club and Acclaim video that we'll talk about a little bit later was supposed to be longer. It's good the size it was. With Billy Gunn with the comedic chops that he has, I think a couple of minutes wouldn't have hurt it, but I could definitely see that. So I mean, with that little bit of moving around, they were able to make room for a wonderful match. That was a great love letter to Mark's brother.
100%.
So let's get into it. We start off the night. AEW Dynamite comes on the air immediately with Judas playing in the background. So we get Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, Les Sex Gods, with Daniel Garcia in their corner. Because of that, I thought there might be a little thing going on, but it was a pretty clean match. I expected something maybe to happen with Daniel Garcia, but
right.
So they come out. Andretti and Guevara were showing off so many counters to each other. Like it was amazing. It was almost like a Ricochet Osprey situation of what they were doing. A lot of back and forth, a lot of just showing good counters, flipping, all that fun stuff.
People give Sammy a lot of shit. That kid can go.
He can.
He's hella talented. He's technically sound. He's great with aerial. His selling is good. His facial and body I mean, just he is a lot better than he gets credit for because people just hate him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did put his burrito on the TNT title. So, I mean,
I get that, but let's be honest. Pretty much anybody that's had a title at some point has probably done the same thing. He just happened to put it out there.
I mean, I got two back there, and I can confirm.
Exactly. I'm just saying.
And those are just replicas. I couldn't imagine written in the real gold. Anyway, let's move on.
But I'm just he's so good that I forget at times to hate him because he's so good.
Yeah, I mean, when he's not playing that obnoxious, I'm gonna sit here and just like slobber on my girlfriend on live TV all day.
Wife.
Oh no, you're right. Yep, you are right. They got married. When he's not playing that character, he's entertaining to me. He's great in the ring. It's just when they try to shove that part of his character down our throats, then that's the time I want him off my TV, because I don't care. Um, couple of fun little things from it. One is Starks doing the top rope walk and doing the Starks pose on the top rope. I still hate that pose, but him doing the little like tequila-esque walk
Yeah,
across the top and then doing it, okay, I'm good with it. It's fine.
it's kind of one of those things though, and a couple people have done it. It's like the Undertaker's old school.
Mhm.
Just pull him off. Just pull.
Yeah.
He's holding onto your arm. Pull.
As I'm looking at Jericho, that's all I'm thinking. I'm like, you know how to do this. Just
Right.
one little
You
yank.
you've been selling this for years too, and that guy was a lot taller.
And a lot more badass. He had guns and liquor backstage.
I'm not.
No? Okay.
I'm just gonna drink my Sonic drink.
There you go. Rue 44, by God. So towards the end of the match, Starks hit a swinging DDT on Guevara, while Andretti hit a springboard moonsault for 2. Andretti and Guevara collided with a double cross body as Jericho and Starks again tagged in. Starks caught a spear for a close 2 as Jericho tried to hit a code breaker, but then Starks countered that with a Liger bomb. Andretti then tried to do a split-legged moonsault, but Jericho got the knees up. Guevara made the tag. Couldn't get the GTH and ate an enziguri.
I will say that split-legged moonsault from Andretti is really nice. That is really smooth.
Andretti hit a Poison Rana and a
Which
hanging
was
neck
pretty.
breaker for 2. Yeah, Poison Ranas are always pretty, but it always makes me like clutch my pearls every time. Like, oof.
A little bit. You're just like, ugh.
Well, it's like it's bad enough. Like most people have a fear of trying to do a backflip because you can't see what's
Where you're
happening.
going.
But
And this is not a backflip. This is a 180. You're literally landing on your head.
Yeah. And hoping to God you are posted up well enough
Right.
to not smack your head on the canvas. Guevara tried to do a springboard cutter but missed as Garcia smacked Andretti with a baseball bat. As referee Aubrey's attention was turned, Guevara hit the GTH and got the pin on Andretti. So a little bit of chicanery to win the match, but a good match overall. I like the bat hit was clean. Like it was definitely like she was turned just enough, and he just popped it one good time, and we were good.
And I'm good with that. They won in the heel way. It's a loss that does not hurt Starks or Andretti. I was fine with it. As much as I would rather have them had a clean fall on this, I was fine with it.
Yeah.
Well, the booking made sense.
And this reminds me of like a few weeks back. We were talking about they did the bat hit on, was it Darby?
I think so. And he kicked out.
And he kicked out. Like to me, this is the perfect example. Like you pop him, surely he's knocked out by a hit with a baseball bat.
Or at least
doesn't hurt anybody.
At least dazed enough for the 3.
Yeah.
Because he got smacked in the head with a bat. I mean,
you never saw someone kick out of a sledgehammer. That's for sure. After this match, Excalibur threw to a tribute video for Jay Briscoe, showcasing the Briscoe brothers' rise in Ring of Honor. Had clips of Jay's family and his daughters as well.
I was good till the cheerleading video. At that point, I kind of started getting teary-eyed, and I'm like, that's how that's going to go, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a beautiful tribute video.
Absolutely.
I saw a couple of more posted online too, just little tributes. One of Jay driving a car, having a conversation of the time he knocked Mark's teeth out.
I wonder what happened to Mark's teeth. Okay, that's
so okay.
It was Jay.
Yeah, it was Jay. So they were in a fight in the ECW arena. I don't remember who he said he was wrestling, but Jay had grabbed a chair and he went to go for a chair shot. Well, Mark apparently had gotten too close right behind him, and so he like went back and hit Mark in the mouth and then hit him. And he's like, and we went another like 15 minutes after that. And then Mark's saying, he's like, yeah. So like we're sitting there and we're finally both at a point where we could rest and look. And like I just had him look at me and go, hey, look. apparently had knocked 2 of them out, one of them up into his nose.
Oh shit.
So
Okay, yeah, I had no idea. I didn't
Jay
know
was
what
like,
happened
"Yeah,
to
that's
his
what happened
teeth.
to his teeth." Mark's dumbass was
That's
behind me when I was trying to
funny.
hit someone with a chair.
That's hilarious because he swung back. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
no, I can see that.
absolutely wonderful. But it was a beautiful tribute video. If you haven't seen it, definitely try to find
There's
that on YouTube. It's really
there's
good.
several of them online.
Um, Buddy Matthews then made his way to the ring with Julia Hart before the break as the TNT match was coming up next. Um, I liked the touch of Buddy Matthews having the face paint. That was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Because it was definitely in a situation where it's like they've been so far away from each other at this point that I didn't know why I should care about this match. Him just adding the face paint just shows like I'm still trying to get in his head.
Well, and the biggest thing about this match was though that Darby said, "I've beat Malachi, I've beat Brody, but I haven't beat you. So let's do it for the title." So I would. It wasn't a Rampage special.
Yeah.
I was good with it. I was
Well,
good with
and
it.
they
It
have
made
history,
sense.
so
Yeah. So I am a huge Buddy Matthews fan. I was a
absolutely.
huge Murphy. I was just a huge fan of in WWE. That kid is uber talented,
Mhm.
and I would not hate them putting a title on him. I think it 100% would make sense. I think honestly, when they're ready, he should be the one to dethrone Darby
Yeah.
because there's no reason to not put a title on that kid. That kid is too good.
He is, and like where he is today and where Blake is not. I want to make sure to say, like, I was a fan of Blake and Murphy.
Oh, I was
Like,
too,
good
100%.
lord, those two together were amazing tag team.
100%.
Uh, to me, it was a lot like the Hooligans back in the day. Brian Kendrick and
Yeah. Yeah.
London, them together. Like, it was just one of those weird pairings that you look at it and go, yeah, why wouldn't they be a tag team? That makes perfect sense. And then with Alexa, please, my God. So we had Darby Allin with Sting out there. Really good match, which ended in
Yeah.
a rope assisted coffin drop. Basically, Buddy Matthews was dumped over the middle rope, and he got up there. He being Allen got up there and did a coffin drop with him
That was
hanging from the rope. It was kind of nice.
that was nice.
I really did like the throw to Seth Rollins that happened in the match.
I
Buddy
missed it.
Matthews did the buckle bomb into the stomp for a 2 count. So a
I
nice,
saw it and it didn't even occur to me that
yeah,
that was
nice little shout out to his former
that's
Messiah.
nice. The Messiah.
Yeah. So it was a hard fought match. Excuse me. Allen was wiped out during this match. It was skin of his teeth
Well,
type of
and
situation.
he had been in Japan with Sting for Muda's last match ever,
Yeah.
and apparently got hurt and still did this match. That's why he was limping so hard
Yep.
on that. I think it was his left leg.
Yep.
And he still went out there and just this kid is.
Which I just want to go on record. Like, so first of all, Sting being in that match made all the sense in the world.
100%.
Sting bringing Darby Allin in on that match does wonders for that kid.
It shows where Sting wants Darby to get.
Yeah.
It shows that he says, "Hey, look, I know who I am. Everybody knows who I am. Let's make sure everybody knows who he is."
Yeah.
I just, and the fact that he had the match won, and they basically, from what I saw in the clip, he had the match won and tagged Muda in.
Yeah.
To finish it. I just, the kid is something special.
Yep.
And long term, he 100% could be the face of a company.
That kid has grown on me, not like a fungus, but just in general.
Right.
But, like when he first showed, like, I didn't think anything was special about him when he first started.
I didn't either.
And just
the more and
more I watch him, I'm like, this kid has something that
yeah,
is
no,
great.
I enjoyed the shit out of it. I thought he was crazy.
Yeah.
but I didn't think he was anything special. But the more, like you said, the more I've watched, uh, the better he's gotten.
Yeah, and the teaming of him and Sting, I think, has done wonders for him. Because to
Absolutely.
me, the thing he was missing was that it factor. Like, what's going to gravitate me to him just as a character? When he's in the ring,
Yep.
obviously, I'm watching him because he's a train wreck, and
Yes.
everybody loves to see a train wreck.
100%.
But watching him just walk out, I never was intrigued. Watching him just stand there, I wasn't intrigued.
Right.
And I think Sting has helped him with that. But so Allen's down on the ground recovering. Tony Schiavone came into the ring to do a post-match interview. Before they could say anything, Samoa Joe interrupted on the screen, basically saying, "You stole my title, and I want another shot at it." So we can anticipate a rubber match between Joe and Allen soon.
I get it. I hope they keep the title on Darby because Joe doesn't need it. He already has the ROH title, and him taking the L isn't going to hurt him any.
No,
It's just not.
especially with ROH, like I assume is coming up pretty quick. Because we did the ROH tribute show, so that means we've already got the structure there. We
Which
just
that is on YouTube already.
is it okay?
I haven't watched it yet because I haven't needed to cry today. So,
But I mean, so they've got the structure there. There's no reason why they shouldn't start doing some shows. Who knows? Maybe this rubber match will lead to someone messing with Joe during the match, which causes Allen
instead
to
of
keep it and set up who he's going to be going against.
you may have somebody for mess with either one of them or both.
Mhm.
Somebody coming out and interrupting the match and getting Joe disqualified or causing a DQ. Like
Yeah.
if they come out and attack Joe, Joe wins by DQ. It sets up whatever with Joe because they took the chance for him to get his TNT title back. Darby keeps the title, a DQ loss doesn't hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's any of a number of ways somebody attacks Darby, costs Joe the title, sets up Joe and them for whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a number of ways that could go.
There is. Then we get a wonderful package with Adam Cole. He's training. He's getting ready. It's one of those.
I'm 100% an Adam Cole mark. I will own it every day. Adam Cole, baby, all day, all day.
I mean, they did everything but say that he's coming back at Revolution. Because I don't know when I'm coming back. We don't know. And then he stares at a Revolution sign. I'm like, okay. So,
but I'm good with that because they're not officially announcing it.
Yeah.
I actually, when he comes back, what do you do with him when he comes back? Is the first question. You're not going to send him after Darby. Do you send him after Joe? Because I don't know that his first match back after concussion, I want him fighting Joe.
That's a good point. I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking not Joe because if they're going to split it officially and then Joe's on ROH, I don't want Adam on ROH. I want him on TV. I don't want him on.
And I agree with that. I mean, you could send him after MJF after the Bryan Danielson match.
You could get him
And
that title.
MJF would be first of all some great promos and some great matches. And I'm not super concerned about any moves that Max is going to do that could cause a re-injury. That's right. My biggest concern with Joe because the Muscle Buster, the Nope, the just everything he does is so high impact. I don't know that you want to put Adam Cole into that situation.
Yeah. From what we saw tonight, I wouldn't mind seeing him do a program against Hangman because Hangman was kind of being a little heelish tonight.
That's true. That wouldn't be bad.
And it would make sense. Like, hey, you took my spot away from me. Yeah. I was the Bucks partner. I was the Bucks number one guy. And here you come. And
and Hangman can throw it back as you went somewhere else.
Yeah.
You went over there where we couldn't follow.
Yeah.
So that's on you. But no, I think those promos would be great too. Him and Hangman would be a great feud.
It would be good. But yeah, so I mean the hope is obviously just by the way they shot that he'll be back by Revolution, which means that very soon on the horizon, we could see him back on our TV again, and then we can just all go boom. Um,
I do it every time he comes out too. When he's
uh,
standing there on the ring.
we have Jungle Hook, Jungle Jack Perry, and the FTW champion Hook going against Ethan Page and Matt Hardy. They had Stokely Hathaway and Isaiah Cassidy in the background. Before they got to the ring, they are trying to remind everybody that Ethan Page is the star of this team, in which case they look at Isaiah and go, "Isn't that right, Isaiah?" Then
Hell no.
Stokely looks at him. I said, "Isn't that right?" Hell no. What did you say? I said, hell no. Basically told him to shut his trap then and said, put on my chain.
I love what they're doing with Isaiah.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm here for it all day. I love it.
The Party Boys gimmick, I haven't been into the private party
The private
thing.
party?
Yeah. There's just something about it I haven't been into. This character, I'm good. Like what they're doing with him.
My thing with private party is it kind of reminds me of if MVP had been in a tag team that wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Not that they're bad, because they're not bad. But and during the pandemic they were big because there wasn't a lot of other real tag teams in AEW.
Yeah.
But now, and Mark Quinn is out, so they're trying to get. I feel like Isaiah is not a singles wrestler, and so until you have him on his tag team back together, what do you do with him?
Yeah.
Other than what they're doing right now, you know what I mean?
Really fun match. So I decided to change up where we get the transcripts this week. The transcripts at this time come from Uncle Dave himself, the Wrestling Observer. Doesn't have any it doesn't have a lot of opinion in here, which I like. However, there's one thing that's said on this that I do kind of agree with. The as many times they went to picture in picture during this match, I think it kind of hurt this match specifically. This is a storyline that is being told mostly on Elevation and Dark. And I think they need the time to explain what's going on. Why is Matt Hardy all of a sudden kissing Ethan's ass? Why is Isaiah so pissed about it? Why is Stokely so short? Like, I need to know all this stuff.
They've kind of talked about it, but not enough on Dynamite for it to make sense.
Exactly.
So, no, I agree. And it's either give them the time for it to make sense or just keep them on Dark and Elevation.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Which either way,
and I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with or put it on Rampage.
Mm-hmm.
But don't put it on Dynamite unless you're going to give more time for everybody to understand what's actually going on.
Yep. A couple of good little moments in this one too. You had Hook trying to put the what does he call it? The
Red Rum.
Trying to put Red Rum on Ethan. Well, Ethan's on the inside, he's on the outside, which was a fun little, like he was just trying to do that. You had Ethan try to do the Ethan's edge on the outside on Hook, which was kind of cool. I think
they call it the Ego's Edge.
Ego's Edge, that's what it was, yeah. So he's trying to do the Ego's Edge, and then Jungle Boy does a Suicida to the outside, which knocks that out of it. Nice little tandem tag team. Which, ironically enough, tandem tag team was the downfall of Ethan Page and Matt Hardy in this one, because Matt Hardy, towards the end of it here, he was able to flatten Perry with a side effect. He was about to hit the Twist of Fate, and Page, who had just been knocked silly, just barely got back up on the apron and said, no, tag me. I wanted to finish this off. And then at that point, Perry countered the Page twist that he was going, the Page's Twist of Fate, into a snare trap as Hardy lightly reached for the tag, but Hook pulled him off the apron, and then Page tapped.
Matt was not really reaching too hard for that tag either. He was kind of like,
he was not. Which
tag me, it's right here.
Page did post on Twitter after the match of,
did he?
Like, if you would have told me that, like, young me, that I would be tag teaming with Matt Hardy one of these days, I wouldn't have believed you. If I would have also been told that he was going to leave me high and dry while I'm tapping out for the first time in my career on AEW, I wouldn't have believed that either.
Here it is. He said, if you told young Ethan he'd be tagging with the legendary Matt Hardy on national TV, he'd think it was a dream. Sucks it turned out to be a fucking nightmare and he'd leave my ass hanging to tap out for the first time in my career.
Yeah.
That's so great. I am a big fan of wrestlers continuing storylines through their social media account.
Absolutely.
Especially Twitter.
And I can't say anything bad about the tightest tits in the game, so he's good.
No, you can't.
Now it's time for the family therapy session. This was a segment that happened. It's one of those, like, I don't like comparing the two companies very often, but this is one of those where there's an obvious difference in how the writing goes between the two companies. Because this was just a very, like, why are we even doing this one?
100%.
Because it was basically just, it was Billy Gunn talking for most of it, saying, all right, we need to get this figured out. What do you guys want? And they said they want the titles.
Like, and the Gunn said, the Acclaimed was like, you're not near good enough.
Yeah.
That's what it came down to. Like, why didn't you just announce a title match? Say we want a title shot. Like, why did we go through all of that? The therapist was fine, and I appreciate that. She's a wrestler too, apparently. But why? Why?
Yep.
I struggle so much with this kind of booking, because why? Just interrupt in a couple matches, have the Acclaimed throw out the challenge, and have the match.
Yeah.
Like, why was this necessary?
Or just pass them during an interview and go, hey, I want a match.
Rampage special.
Rampage special.
But something.
Yeah.
This is just dumb.
So let's get off that crap. We end up backstage with Renee. She's with Hangman Adam Page. She asked about his vague response last week of what he was talking about. He kind of answered it, and he basically said, look, like, you know, I'm in a situation where I've got this thing with Moxley, and he and I are 1-1, and I'd like to go in Ohio and do the same thing to him again.
And Renee looking uncomfortable was so perfect.
Yep.
Hiring her, I'll say it again, hiring her was the best thing they could have done for their backstage segments. And I don't say that to take away from anybody they've had back there. Mm-hmm. Whether it was...
Renee is one of those... she's one of those just once in a lifetime type of things. I've referenced before that she reminds me like how she controls the interview a lot of Gene Okerlund, like just the way she's able to take the interview, and no matter how crappy it is, and is able to tai chi that into something great. Yeah, she's absolutely. And then being able to do little things like this where
Marvez. I couldn't think of Alex Marvez's name, but yeah, I don't take anything away from Tony Schiavone either. He does great with backstage segments, but Renee just adds a whole different flavor to it.
Yeah.
And so hiring her was perfect.
Absolutely.
And her, like I said, her looking uncomfortable made this great. I felt like it was kind of a Rampage special the way Wheeler Yuta just busted in at the end.
So I'm a little more okay with this though, just because it's part of his group.
Right, so and I get that.
It's not just a random, like,
right.
It wasn't Brian Cage coming back there going, "Hey,
right,
you talking all this crap."
I get that. It had all the makings of a Rampage special, but that one fact of them being in the
BCC
Combat Club together made it make sense. Like our biggest issue with the Rampage special is make it make sense. This one did.
Yeah, at least it made sense. But so yeah, as you said, Yuta comes out and he says, like, you're out here running your mouth about Moxley, but Moxley's not here tonight. How about this? I want to take you out on Rampage. And he says, okay, but let me tell you this. I think I'm going to do to you what I did to Moxley. And that's where it's like, it sounded a little heelish. If
he takes Yuta out, I honestly, him beating Moxley for the win on the third match
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Um, if he takes out Wheeler, you could honestly, I think Hangman would do well in Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
him
think
going
his
after
character would for
Claudio,
sure.
would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And if you want to keep Claudio in AEW, put the title on Hangman.
Yeah. That makes total sense. Then we have Bryan Danielson, which is his fight to get to the 60-man Iron Man match. This time going against Brian Cage, who, as we mentioned earlier, has gotten a envelope full of money to break Brian's arm. This match, I have to say, is probably one of Cage's best matches I've ever seen.
100%. But again, I think that, like we've said with Bryan Danielson, he's one of the best ever.
Oh yeah, no, it was about 75-25 when it came to how good that match looked.
But Bryan Danielson makes everything look so good.
Yep.
That he made Cage look like a superstar.
Yep.
And so I was good with it. It was a good match. It was a hard-hitting match, and it all made sense.
Yep. I'm going to start. So, starting from where the yes kicks started. Yes kicks didn't really seem to do much with Cage, so he stopped kind of mid yes kicks and tried to do a triangle choke, which Cage powered out of. Hit him. He was trying to hit him with the powerbomb there, and that he countered out of it, got him in a leg trap German suplex, and Bryan Danielson suplexing Brian Cage looks really impressive.
It's hella impressive. Brian Cage is a big dude.
Yeah, he's he's a big, thick dude. Cage and Danielson then traded some home run shots against each other until Cage hit, I assume was supposed to be a buckle bomb. Ended up being more of a rope bomb because it was right up against the side ropes there.
Brian Cage is listed at 6'2", 275.
Mm-hmm. He's a big dude.
Bryan Danielson is 5'10", 210.
Massive difference between the two.
Him hitting that German was so impressive.
Yeah, him hitting that suplex was the most impressive thing I've seen him do in a while.
Well, and the fact that we know that Bryan Danielson has the neck issues makes these matches like this that much more real feeling.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, when he was hitting that buckle bomb, I'm assuming that could be the reason why it got flubbed like it did. Because if he would have thrown him into the buckle like he was going to, I can see the hesitation.
Yeah.
If I was the wrestler about to throw Bryan Danielson into a corner,
right?
Especially as big and strong as Cage is. But so then he hit him with that buckle bomb. He hit him with another power bomb. He tried for a third, but then Danielson was able to roll him up real quick with a flash pin. Got the 3 count out of it. Post match, Cage attacked him though, hit Weapon X on him, which he had that arm cranked hard doing that move. Definitely selling the fact that he was trying to break his arm. Cage puts Danielson's arms to a chair and posted it. Commentaries reminding us about the bounty that Cage is going to collect. MJF came down, and Danielson was about
to town on Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, he was about to Pillmanize his arm, is what Dave says here, which is like very rightfully so. He trapped his arm in there. He's trying to break it.
Gonna jump off and that was
but then that's when
Takeshita came out. It's a good way to phase it.
Yeah,
a good way to phrase that.
Takeshita came out though, made the save as MJF bailed. while Cage was laid out with a running knee.
MJF
Takeshita,
running like a bitch from Takeshita, I'm not a fan of.
I'm not either. Um, the way he ran, especially with having
Yeah,
Cage out there with him. Like,
right.
good lord, just put
Like you've
Cage in
got the
between you
numbers
two.
and you have this huge bastard in the ring.
Well, and to me, okay, so that's like the perfect thing. So, Takeshita's doing the running knee to Cage. Why don't we set that up where he's about to do the running knee to MJF? MJF backpedals, rolls out the ring. He ends up hitting Cage, and then he just, doesn't haul
Or
ass. He just backpedals out of the arena.
right. Or you do something where Cage kind of takes the bullet for MJF to say, hey,
Make
thanks for
more
the
money.
money. Right. So yeah, there were better ways to do it. But it all made sense, and I'm good with Takeshita Brian Cage.
Yep.
I think it'll be a good match.
And then we ended up with, I feel, partly shoot of the way he felt during this interview, but we ended up
MJF.
no. That one too. But we'll get to that in a minute. So Renee is backstage with the doctor and Brian Danielson.
Oh yeah.
And the doctor's saying that there's a dislocation. Danielson says he doesn't care. He's wrestled an hour injured before. I think he said with like a torn tricep or something like that.
No, he had a dislocate. He dislocated his shoulder.
Um,
He had a dislocated shoulder before. It literally is the same thing that they're saying now.
I thought he was saying it was a torn tricep last
He
time.
did an hour with a dislocated shoulder.
But he said he's going to expose MJF for the fraud he is. MJF thinks that he has a mask covering the devil. He says he thinks he's basically a wuss hiding behind what's going on there. And then looks at Doc Samson and says, and this is where I think like a little bit of shoot came out, looked at him and said, "You are never going to tell me I can't wrestle again." And then leaves.
Because he was the WWE doctor for a long time.
Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm 99% sure.
That's crazy. So that leads us to Ruby Soho going against Toni Storm. This is a barn burner of a match.
Great match.
Definitely, I think the best match Storm has had in AEW. I've been kind of lukewarm on her wrestling in AEW, but this was definitely a good match.
Yeah, he used to be the doctor in WWE.
Okay. So he might have been one of the ones that said no.
No, this match, it was originally supposed to be a triple threat. They said Britt got hurt. But this match was so good.
Yeah. Storm on her way down to the ring, kind of cut a bit of an inset promo talking to the camera. She's mad at Ruby Soho for helping the homegrown idiots, as she says it. Good Lord, this is a good match. It ended up leading to a moment though where Storm is about to hit a move, and then all of a sudden Britt Baker's music hits.
Storm Zero, her finisher.
Was it going to be Storm Zero? Okay.
It was supposed to be Storm Zero. They said she set her up for Storm Zero.
Okay. That distraction though,
they
for
kind of
Storm,
sold it before she got into the move.
The distraction for Storm was enough for Soho to hit Destination Unknown and get the win. Nice win for Ruby. Definitely good to see that. Now that does lead us to the MJF promo that you were talking about. And I agree with you. This one also seemed very different than we're used to seeing from MJF. And I don't know if it was a little bit of, bringing in some of his shoot feelings about what people are saying about him or what have you.
Right.
But he's in a dimly lit room. First, he runs down to Takeshita. He says that, yes, I do know your name, but take a shit is funny to me.
He can say, he can run him down all he wants. You still ran like a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he says so. He says that, Takeshita, you are talented, but you need to stay the hell out of my way. Despite being injured, Danielson will keep marching to the revolution like a hero. That's what the fan thinks that he's going to do. but not MJF. As him and his triple B is what makes him get out of bed this in the morning, and it also proves his monicum, which is "I'm better than you, and you know it." He does say that he wants to get past the physical scars because the physical scars can heal. He wants to start dealing with the mental scars because those are what will really leave a scar. And he says next week he's going to face someone who enjoys pain and enjoys inflicting pain. Tells him to cut the video, and we found out that Timothy Thatcher is going to be facing Bryan Danielson. I'm at this point that I'm only watching Dynamite for this. That's going to be amazing.
Timothy Thatcher, I had no idea who he was before his NXT feud with, who was it?
Well, so he had one with.
He was a tag team with, was it Oney Lorcan?
Yeah, with Oney Lorcan.
Oney Lorcan and him, and then they had their battles too. Those were so good.
Yeah. Timothy Thatcher he's one of those. They mentioned a few times that he's like one of those old school,
100%,
like, hard-nosed wrestlers.
Absolutely.
But the difference between him and in those, I think, is like he knows how to play to the camera. He knows how to play to the crowd. It was
Thatcher and Riddle. That's what it was.
Yeah. Riddle and him did the cage, the pit cage or whatever it is.
Yes. That I knew he had a big feud. I couldn't remember who it was. It was Riddle.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's all right. So yeah, we found out it's going to be Timothy Thatcher. That's going to be an amazing match. I cannot wait for that one.
Because he's going to go after that left arm.
Oh yeah, because his main move's the Fujiwara armbar. So that's where he's going to be playing it, and that's what Daniel's going to have to get away from.
Yeah.
And we know he can. So we're going to get to see more different stuff from Bryan.
This is definitely going to be a much more technical match than we've seen because he did. The first match was Takeshita, and then Bandito, so high flyer there. Cage was power. The next one's technical. Yeah. I am loving how they're doing this,
and the fact that we're bringing in like surprise entrants, like bringing in a Timothy Thatcher, is amazing. And the fact that we are still, 5 weeks away,
right,
from this match. So 5 more matches that he's going to have to like go.
No, they said he had to get through the 1st or the 7th. I think he's got. I think this is the last one that he had to get through.
Okay.
To officially earn the title shot.
Okay, I thought it was the road all the way up.
No,
okay.
Unless I misunderstood, but I'm pretty sure it was just through like February 1st. I think they said.
Okay.
I may be wrong, but if I remember correctly, that's what they said.
Well, either way, this one's going to be a great match, and I'm sure Bryan's not going to just sit on his ass between now and that match. So we'll probably get a lot more fun. But them bringing in someone that we're not used to seeing for that type of thing, for that type of situation, a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Right now, their stories, all of them are so good.
Yeah. At this point, Taz and Tony tag out. Excalibur then is followed up with Ian and Caprice.
Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman. And you can hear Excalibur's voice starting to break.
Yeah.
Just introducing them and what they're going into.
Yep. So Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal come out. Sanjay gave Jay Lethal a big hug during the entrance prior to the commercial.
I want to say Sanjay had a Jay Briscoe shirt on.
They both did, yeah.
Okay, I thought
him and Sanjay both. Riccaboni did a good job talking about Mark's journey through ROH with his brother during his entrance. As Bobby Cruz gives us the introductions. Mark has both ROH titles on him, both the tag titles.
I will say, I thought the crowd reaction for Mark was really good too.
It was. I think it's unfortunate everything that's happened, but I think all of the fanfare, all of the love, all of the adulation that Jay got on Twitter from people that are
Yeah,
massive, I
yeah,
think got a lot of people to go, well, who is this guy?
I agree.
And
I agree.
that
But I
probably
just, in
attributed to a lot
general,
of that.
it probably did. But it was a really good pop.
It was. It was a good pop. And I hope that means that we're going to keep Mark around. Like it's one of
I,
those that, he's young enough that he could carry on the Briscoe name for a while.
yeah, 100%.
And I
Well,
think both
and
of them deserve to be in a bigger company, and just unfortunately never happened.
I definitely think because he obviously has both titles still. I would not hate Jay Lethal being his partner to defend the titles.
Yeah.
It would make 100% sense on the ROH side. It doesn't make sense with what they're doing here in AEW in general.
Well,
But
and
because,
silver lining, maybe it would change what he's doing in AEW, and then we can get him away from this Jeff Jarrett thing.
fair point, and I'd be fine with that. But at some point, he's going to have to defend him. He's going to have a partner. To me, Jay Lethal's a great pick.
Yeah.
But this match with Jay Lethal was crying before the match started.
Yeah.
And so was everybody else. I mean,
real quick, just to speak to what you're saying about Mark and Jay still having the titles. I also wouldn't mind if Mark gave it up and we had a Jay Briscoe Invitational.
ooh, I like that. That would be, yes, the Jay Briscoe Invitational for the tag titles, and then you start doing it every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
Not just air.
I like it. I like it. You need to tweet it. Hit Tony Khan up with it. You need to tweet it.
So both men adhere to the code of honor. You are right. Jay Lethal was already losing it before the match even started. He was able to snap back into it pretty quick after the bell hit. But yeah, definitely when they shook hands, and you could tell there was a little exchange of words between the two.
There was a kind of an embrace too. Yeah.
Jay immediately kind of broke for a second, and then got back into it. So
I admit to the fact that I was a little emotional too, because I was just like, it's so refreshing, and I hate to say that because of what it is, but to see the community come together the way they have.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like I've seen a lot of their tag stuff. I haven't seen a lot of their solo stuff, and I was really impressed by how technical Mark actually is.
Very
because
much
like
so.
he hit a very good snap drop kick, which I didn't expect. Some of the as they called it, redneck kung fu that he was doing was fun to
That
do.
stuff is so good too, and he puts like the sound effects with it too, which just makes it better.
Yeah. Briscoe tried to hit the J Driller as a tribute to his brother, but Lethal fought out of that into a lethal combination the first time. Briscoe got a roll up off of a figure four attempt. Lethal responded with a front face suplex into another lethal injection, but Briscoe at this point rolled out to the floor. Lethal then followed out after that and set up Briscoe at the timekeeper's table as Lethal went to the top. Briscoe cut him off, hit a drop kick through the ropes. Briscoe then hit a blockbuster off the apron, set Lethal up on a table there at ringside, and then hit the froggy bow, which I'd never heard that before.
So I have, just because I watched their match with, I think it was the Bucks.
Okay.
And no, the froggy bow was one of their finishers. It's a frog splash elbow.
Yeah.
I was like, that's creative as hell.
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm
interesting.
here for it all day.
Yeah. Hit that off the top rope. Massive, this is awesome, and holy shit chants. It's the first fecal chant of the evening.
Completely warranted too.
Yeah. So rolled him back inside. We tried to pin him. Lethal kicked out at 2. Then Lethal bridged out of Jay's driller attempt again, but Briscoe then just responded with a hell of a lariat. Like
That was
that gave
solid.
JBL a run for his money on that one. And then finally got the Jay Driller the hit for an incredibly emotional win. You could definitely tell, and it's just one of those, like, you watch it for so long and you know kind of the ins and outs. You can definitely see, like, he rolled off to the side, said something to Jay because his head was just right there close enough that he could have a little conversation with him. Um, so lots of applaud from the AEW locker room. They all come out. A lot of friendly faces. Christopher Daniels like the first one to embrace him. You had Riccaboni up there too.
Sanjay was back out.
Sanjay
The
was back
Bucks
out.
were that, like, the whole locker room came out, and again hit me right in the feels. It was so well done.
Well, and people that, like, just because I was never an ROH guy, people that I didn't expect. So, like, Roosh gave him a big embrace because I didn't realize Roosh was such a big ROH
Oh, he was a
guy.
huge part of ROH.
BJ Whittemer, and then Mark holds up both the titles. He jaw jacks a little bit to the camera, just about his brother. It was definitely a great match. It was good emotion.
This very much reminded me of the Eddie tribute.
Yeah,
It was very. It was to me. It was that well done. Just as one match.
yeah,
It was that well done.
yeah. And as much as I'm like you, I'm gonna go back and watch the full ROH show at some point. But
Absolutely.
it just being this on national television says a lot. It is definitely good. I think the term was used. I think it was Riccaboni used it, of the third man in the ring.
The ref.
Yeah. Well, I was actually just talking about, like,
Oh,
yeah, he was talking about the ref, but to me, the third man in the ring was Jay. You could definitely
gotcha.
feel between
Yeah.
the two of them of
No,
Jay.
and they talked about that ref had been there for. I want to say he was the ref for their match with FTR when they won the titles.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been a huge part. He was a huge part of the ROH past. And just it was perfect. It was just perfect.
Absolutely.
The whole thing was.
Wonderful show, wonderful tribute. Like I said, I do hope we see more of Mark. I think he's a great character. And you'll always get that mixed crowd. It's like, when Ray was doing the Eddie stuff after Eddie passed, and they're like, let it
Right.
go. And
At what point do you need to let it stop? And
yeah,
I feel like this is a little different because it's his brother.
yeah,
They just won the tag titles a month or so ago. So I feel like this is a little different, but I agree there's still a point where you have to go, okay, we're gonna slowly start edging away from this. You don't have to change a lot, but just kind of
stop
you
referencing
can
as much.
you
But
can bring it
but
up.
to,
I mean,
but to me, though, I think this is a good opportunity to have Mark on TV and have him, ride that for a little bit. And
yeah,
I
oh,
think it's
absolutely.
fine.
And I don't have a problem with it. He's not using it incorrectly. It's
Yeah.
his brother, for God's sake. I just holy shit, it's his brother.
Yeah.
They came up together. They did all these things together. There's no reason to not let him be on TV and reference it. Everything up to the end match was amazing. The couple of promos were great. That end match was emotional. It was well done. Um, I don't think they could have picked a better opponent for Mark.
No, I mean,
Just because.
there is a list of people that you could have used, but I think style wise, I think history wise, I think that you couldn't have picked someone better. I agree.
No, history wise, especially because they had apparently Jay's last title win was from Jay Lethal.
Okay.
Or vice versa. Something like that. the world championship traded hand between those two, one way or the other. The last time I think Jay Briscoe had the title.
Yeah.
So I just, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was emotional and it was amazing. And I hope they keep giving us more of Mark. I'm good with it. Bring him out. He's a great wrestler. He's a great personality. They talked about it during the match, like he was the brains of the operation, which is crazy after seeing him do redneck kung fu. Which, and I don't think it's done with any type of disrespect to martial arts in any way, but that's just what they called it, and it's perfect for the gimmick.
Yeah, it's definitely, he's the whole package, and it's
100%.
amazing that we haven't seen more of him on a more main stage. But to conclude on the tears and jeers of the night, they already do have previews up for the next two AEW shows. So we've got Rampage coming tomorrow, where we get Hangman Adam Page taking on ROH Pure Champion Wheeler Yuta. Powerhouse Hobbs is going to be in action. Powerhouse Hobbs is going to be in action.
Squash match. Nobody cares.
Yep. And we're going to have Jamie Hayter against Emi Sakura in an AEW.
That's going to be a great match.
Yeah, an AEW Women's Title Eliminator match. And then next week on Dynamite, we got, of course, Bryan Danielson taking on Timothy Thatcher, which to me is going to be match of the night.
Absolutely.
Got Adam Page versus Jon Moxley for the official match. The Acclaimed are going to be there. They've already said they're going to be in action. And then Darby Allin defends his TNT title against Samoa Joe. They officially have it signed, and it's a no holds barred match. So Jesus Christ.
Somebody's going to get involved. There's no chance somebody doesn't get involved.
With it being no holds barred, it only makes sense. It makes sense that someone's going to.
And I'm not talking Sting. I'm talking somebody coming after Joe or Darby getting involved. Taking the title off Darby makes no sense. So in my head, Darby's winning this.
Yeah.
But I just, this no holds. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Here's a little bit of fantasy booking. He gave Buddy a title match. Malachi wants the title. They come out and they take out Joe.
Yeah.
Just so Darby can get it, and so he can get that match.
They take out Joe and offer him basically as, we took care of it. All you gotta do is pin him.
Yep.
That'd definitely be interesting. I thought the thing we didn't mention when we were doing the Darby match was that Brody and Malachi came out, and Sting and Brody started fighting, and then Ortiz attacked Malachi with a kendo stick.
Yeah.
So I won't be surprised if we get something with that too.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's good to see Ortiz definitively doing something.
Yes.
So I don't know, that part of the storyline still confuses me. I don't see Ortiz or Kingston being a part of that group, so I don't understand where we're supposed to be going with this.
I think it was done more as mind games.
Maybe. But the fact that we're holding on to it after their matches are done, like, that's just seems weird. But anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up. That
great show.
Yeah, it definitely wraps up a great show. Thanks for spending your time with us. If you are enjoying us and want to support us, then please go ahead and share this video and share our channel. Hit us up on all the socials down below. We're having a lot of good responses from the TikTok. So nice. I'm really glad for that, and it's a lot of fun to catch.
Those are I will say those are probably some of the most fun thing we do.
Yeah.
And your things you come up with to try and get a reaction are pretty solid.
Yeah. I got to come up with some more. We got to do some more here soon. Since half our last batch didn't work. To catch all of our latest from us, you can follow us right here on YouTube at Kicking Out 2. Until next time, I am Michael. This is Tori, and we will see you on the next one.